Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where you're sewing with me, Nikki. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead, push the button, subscribe, because I do real-time tutorials where I'm going to walk you through different projects. I'm going to talk to you as I do it so that you get to learn step by step. All right, so today we are going to be sewing a pretty awesome, cool little bag, circular pouch. Okay, you can use this to put maybe essential oils in it, makeup, you can put jewelry, anything you want. Okay, and this is going to be a simple project. Now this one here that's already done, that I did, this is a little smaller circle than what I'm going to be doing here. So when you're thinking about sizes that you want, whether you want to put essential oils or whether or not you want to put jewelry for traveling or makeup for traveling, okay, the good thing about it is that this pouch is going to open all the way up. Okay, what I did actually, I went and, because I knew I wanted something larger, I went to my kitchen, grabbed the bowl. Okay, I looked at the top part of the bowl. I took the largest one that I thought that I would use. Okay, and what I did was I flipped it upside down and I traced my circle. I just drew a circle. That simple, guys. So you're going to need one outer fabric, one lining piece of fabric, and then you're going to need one piece of interface. This interface is Pelon 809. If you don't know about interfaces, go search through my videos. I did one that teaches you about interface, okay? So the interface video, you can learn about 6 different types, okay? So the other thing you're going to need when you cut your fabric, if you cut on the, anyway, this is 44 inches, okay? And you can just actually, when you have that bolt, when you get the bolt, open it up, and it should look like this. When you do actually open it up, all I did was cut a 3-inch strip, 3-inch wide. Okay. Okay. The other thing, this is optional. 2 little, I don't know what these are, squeeze things. You do not need these. I just like them. This goes on the end because what you can do is you can actually tie them. Okay. But, and then you're going to need either some ribbon or you're going to need some type of cord. Okay. All right. So let's get started. All right. Don't get intimidated by this circle. The first thing we're going to do is get your interface, put your interface shiny side up. I'm going to put the the outside fabric right on top. Okay, there's my shiny side up. I'm just going to hit this with the iron. Okay, I always like to start ironing in the inside. Okay. Going to make sure this adheres to the outer fabric. Okay. You'll know when your fabric has adhered to the interface because you shouldn't see any bubbles on the opposite side. Okay, so you should see no bubbles, and that's good to go right there. Okay, I'm gonna put this to the side for a moment. And what I want to do right now, we're going to take that strip that we have. Okay, and what we're going to do, fold down the top part. Very simple. We're just prepping out things right now. Iron that. Go to the other side. Do the same thing with the other side. Fold it down. Okay. All right. So now we're just going to fold this over your 3-inch fabric here. Fold it over once. And we want to get a pretty crease in the top. You don't need to stay long on the iron, just enough to give you that nice fold on top. Make sure our edges are lined up, our raw edges. We're going to be cutting this as we work with it, which obviously I'll show you when. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do, okay, so you have your outer piece of fabric right here. Okay, what we're going to do, take your fabric, fold it in half. Well, not fold it, but just, you know, fold it enough for you just to snip an end, just an end portion, a small little portion. Don't snip a lot. Look, that's a teeny tiny portion. That's all we want. Do the same thing to the top, to the other side, directly across. Okay, so we have the opposite ends that are snipped. Okay, all right, so now what we're going to do, you're going to take your strip, the long strip that you have, the 3" by the 44". Okay, what we're going to do, you're going to, you see that snip that we made right there? That snip there, you're going to start by sewing. You're going to go all the way around. If you need to pin this, go ahead and pin this, okay? You don't need to pin it in air, you know, all around the circle, but go ahead. And what we want to do is we want to line up the raw edges together. Line up raw edges. Okay, what we want to do, as you're pinning this around, this strip should not stay straight. We want it to actually have this little bit of a fold in it because that lets us know that it's circular. It's on our outer fabric in a circular manner. Okay, so it should not be straight. Okay, pin. Where we made the snip on the other side, we want to stop at that part right there. Okay, I'm gonna pin, turn this around, and I'm almost to that snip. There it is right there. Okay, so there's the snip, and what I'm going to do, the snip is actually here. I'm going to cut a little bit longer than the snip. Okay. Because what we want is we want to open this up, tuck this in, close it up so that we have a pretty edge. Okay, and it's going to line right up with the snip. You see that? Oh, hey, that came out great. Look at that. Okay. My pin is bent. Okay, so let's go right here. Let's start sewing. You're going to sew all the way around this portion of your raw edge. Okay, all the way around. So back stitch here and then sew around. Okay, I'm going to sew on 3.0. Okay, removing my first stitch, my first pin, and I'm sewing 1/8 of an inch. And if you don't know where 1/8 of an inch is, that's actually just you line up your fabric with that first guide marker. That's a good rule of thumb for you. Later, we're going to end up sewing a little further. So that's why we're sewing on the edge, just to hold this down. This is going to create the casing. It's going to create the casing for the ribbon that we're going to be putting on. I love these little bags. You can use them for a lot of different things. This is coming out. Make sure as you go around the circle that you are keeping those raw edges lined up, even though you are, going around and not straight lines. People get scared of circles. Don't get scared of circles. Okay. I'm almost back around to the first part. your little fold comes undone a little bit, you know, go ahead and tuck it back under. Okay. I want to fold my inner in a tad bit more. Okay. Lining up my edges. Okay. Back stitch back at the beginning. Okay, so now what we want to do is go ahead and do the same thing to your other side. We're going to start off here. Okay, raw edge. Okay, raw edge to raw edge again. So we want to leave this, we want to create the opening because our strings are going to go in here, our ribbon. So don't overlap it, just put it right next to it. Okay. My pen. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna snip the end of this interface here because, you know, I didn't do a super straight circle. Not that that's a, you know, a big deal, because it's not. Okay. Pinning. I usually don't pin, but for you guys, I'm pinning. Okay, all the way around. And when we get back to this side, if you have, depending on the size of the circle that you did, you might have to cut a little bit off. Okay, you'll know once you get around, obviously. Okay, so you see this here? There's that's where my first part of the casing ends, and here's my other portion. So I did a tad bit too much, so I'm just going to snip off like that much. Okay, I'm going to open this and fold in. I could have cut off more. So raw. Really? This is real TV, guys. Real. I know. Okay. All right, here we go. Last one. Ouch. Okay, so now we're going back and we're going to sew all around this edge. Okay. You want to make it so that the portion that you're sewing goes inside and your excess hangs out. Trust me. If you learn to sew like that, it will alleviate you from having to bunch things up in this little bit of space here. Take your time going around the circle. Remove those pins. Don't sew over your pins. This is a really quick project once you learn how to do it. Everything is quick when you learn how to do it. So and you should see that your because you should see that your portion of your fabric looks like it's curling up inside. It's because the outer portion is stretched to meet with the outside of the circle. That's what you want. Almost back at the beginning. Okay, I'm double stitching, back stitching to put extra stitching. Okay. Okay, so now you're going to take that inner lining, okay, the inner piece, the inner lining that you have, and you're going to put pretty side to pretty side, okay? I love solid colors, but the funny part is every time that I, when I'm sewing, when I try to look for what piece is the wrong side, I always have to do a double look because sometimes it looks the same. Okay, so what we're going to do is pin, because we're going to be sewing all the way around, leaving only a small portion somewhere around your circle. Okay, as you are pinning, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to be leaving a portion open because you need to turn it right side out. Okay, so if you want to, go ahead and pin all around. Okay, and then you can just select anywhere. The area, what I normally do when I need to leave a gap, what I normally do, we'll leave that. If I don't want to sew in that space that I'm going to turn it right side out, if I have a specific area, I like to put a pin facing the opposite way. So for instance, I'm just going to put this facing this way. And I know that I want to leave this portion open, a little portion of it. I don't want to leave this area open because this is where the two portions for the opening for the casings are on the side. So I don't want to leave this area open to flip it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to sew all the way around using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This seam right here, we did 1/8 inch. And the reason we did that is because we're going to sew in about right here now so that you don't even see that seam right there. We're going to sew in right here. So that's about 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay. All right. So go ahead, start anywhere. I'm going to start right here because I pinned this way. So I know that's the area I wanted to leave open. Okay. Okay, and I'm lined up with my second guide mark, if that works better for you, as opposed to saying 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm lined up with the second guide marker right there. The other thing is I'm on 2.5 for my stitch length. When you sew circles, it's easier to have smaller stitch lengths instead of larger ones. Going all the way around. Almost done. I have a big circle. A few years ago, my friend made a smaller one like this that she made for my children, but they were able to use it for jewelry or marbles, so that was pretty cool. You know, you can put small little toys in it. Here's that pin that I'm back at, so I know now this is the part of the opening where I want to turn the fabric the right way. Okay. I just back stitched it. Okay, leave it, do as much room as you think you need to leave it open. I just left this amount open. Okay. I don't like to see all the stragglies through the lining of my fabric. And that's the thing, if you have a solid light color, sometimes you'll see all the stragglies. So I actually cut sometimes. Okay. Here's a trick also. When you're sewing circles, what you may want to do sometimes, right? Go around ever so often around your circle and snip the outside of the stitching. This is going to help make sure that when you flip this, that the fabric inside will actually fold a lot smoother and not seem bunched up. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. It helps you turn the fabric easy and flatten the fabric inside. Okay. All right. So now go to that little section that you left open. Okay. And what we're going to do is just stick your fingers inside. Stick your fingers inside. Okay. Pull it out. I made one of these for my daughter and I put a strap, a flap on the outside of it so that when it was all done, she was able to flap it and Velcro it. Okay, so you want to grab your iron for the next step for this portion here. Okay, so this area here, I want to show you something. We want to close up this hole, but the reason I had you snip was because when you flip it, you see this is the portion here that we cut inside all the way around. But we want to force it down. We want to force it down so that when we close up this hole, all of the seams are going to be, forced down. That's really hard to do if you did not snip little portions, you know, every little bit of the way. All right, so what we want to do now, go ahead and get your iron, and we want to iron down. It would help if that was on. We want to iron down the edging all around inside for another reason as well. So we want to go and force them down with your hands all the way around. Okay. All right. When you force them down, go to that portion that you left open and fold down your lining fabric. Make sure it goes on top of the portion, on top of the outer fabric. Okay. Okay, iron that down. Okay, I'm just going around the edging because what I did was I forced down those parts that we snipped. Okay, and like I said, that's going to be helpful for the next portion. All right. Okay, get that down in there. Okay, so starting with the area that you just folded over, okay, we want to sew, we want to top stitch all the way around this, all the way around the circle, 1/8 of an inch. And what it's going to do, what we want to do, it's going to create the nice line on the outside of the casing, okay, because this portion here is the casing. That's what this ribbon or string will be in, okay? But what it's going to do, putting that top stitch, is going to force down the seam portion to make it stay down, okay? Besides making it look nice, okay? So we're about to sew the top stitch all the way around right now, okay? All right, so start with the area that you need to close up, okay? All right. Okay. And when you're looking inside, just keep your lining fabric lined up with the first guide marker. And again, that's going to be 1/8 of an inch, because look at this. You can see the seam allowance inside of here. Okay, it's this thick right here. We can see it inside. Okay, the reason we're top stitching is that we want to hold it down. We want to keep it, we want to hold it in place. Okay, so just go around 1/8 of an inch. I'm riding right along. I can actually see, I'm looking at my lining fabric here. I'm lining up that guide marker with my fabric. I always use my fabric to guide me so I know I'm going straight. Here's what it's doing. It's creating that pretty top stitching around the outside. Okay. Just past the casing area, the open area. And back where I started. Remember to backstitch. Okay. I'm just going to snip my stitching. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do, oh, you need a safety pin. Grab a safety pin. Okay. And what I'm going to do, stick that safety pin in the end of whatever ribbon or whatever cord you choose. Okay. Start at one end, feed it through. We're going all the way around, coming out the other side. Okay. Guys, when I started sewing, I became a pro at this with the safety pin. And when I teach students, they wonder how I can do this so quickly. I told them a lot of practice. So, okay, getting to that portion. Okay, I'm going to continue, go through the other side of the casing. I never cut my ribbon until I know just how much I need. This is going to want to gather, okay? Let it gather at first. To see it's bunching up. That's the purpose. We want the ribbon to actually force it closed. That's what we want. Okay, I'm almost back at the other side. You're going to have to judge how long you want the cord. Okay. It's going to seem really long. When you close this, so you see right now I left it right here, it's short, but when I close it, look what happens. It leaves this much. So you just have to fumble with it and play with it and see how tight you want it. Okay, I'm going to stop mine right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this right here so that it doesn't go through. Okay, and now I'm going to do the other side. So I'm putting this through. Okay, so I started on this side, and I know that because my end pieces are over here, right? So what I'm going to do with the pin, with the other part now, is I'm going to start on the opposite side on this portion here. So I want to start here and end here. Okay, so you can slide that one down, move it out the way. we need to create a pull tab for this side the way we have here. No one ever mentioned that in a video when I was first learning, like 10 years ago. I was like, I don't understand why I was learning to do a drawstring bag. That's what I was learning. Okay, but the fact is that you need the end pieces on both sides in order for you to be able to pull. Okay, like that. So we're making pretend that original one that we did is not even there, and we put in a brand new one on a brand new ribbon piece on the other side. So make sure that doesn't slide through. Okay, push it down, make like it's not there, keep going around. This is the last part of this project, so you're going to be done. Feeding it through. Again, I'm making sure that didn't slide, making sure the ribbon didn't slide through. You'll realize how much ribbon you waste after you do it for a time or two, and then you'll realize, oh, I don't need to waste that much ribbon. Okay, okay, we're almost back where we need to be. And okay, guess what, guys? We're back. Okay, I'm gonna pull that one a little bit, snipping this really close. Hold on to it when you first cut it. Okay, now, so I tie that. If you want to, if you think you may actually, if you think you may actually like lose your string inside, well, that's what these things come in handy for. I still can't think of the name of them. Eyelet clasp, I don't know. But you can put one of these on the end on each side. Okay, and it's basically meant to ensure that you don't lose your strings, okay, in your item. Okay, if you need to, you can go ahead, if you're not using this, go ahead and do a double tie. Okay, okay, so now this is the part that you put everything that you want inside. Okay, and then you just pull, and you can pull it as, you know, the good thing is that if you put a lot of things in it, it doesn't need to close all the way. You can pull it tight. Okay, and so you can just put your belongings inside. Okay, so let's see, I don't know, put some things in there. Okay, so you can put, you know, like I said, essential oils, you can put makeup in there if you want to. On the outside, when you're first doing it, on the outer part of the fabric, when the circle is laid out flat, you can draw a flap almost like a big U, and you can actually you know, put the interface and lining on it as well. Put a flap so that you can put it across to close it. I just don't do it on mine. So, all right, so guess what? That's another project, another easy project that you have just completed that you will actually love when you are traveling. It will come in handy. You can actually just, you know, tie the strings in like a bow as well. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. If you didn't understand something, drop a comment down below. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button and, you know, come back and watch another tutorial where I walk you through step by step on how to do things, okay, that you can use every day. All right, guys, that's all. I'll see you at the next video. Bye.